The first commitment was D.D. Holmes, 4-star defensive end out of Washington, D.C. 6'6", 250-pound kid. I like him a lot, man. Real violent guy, long arms. Um, as far as the quick twitch, probably a little bit quicker as far as coming off the edge, but real explosive guy, long arms, violent, real violent. Um, Pick FSU
Quit
over.
painting these young black men like that, man.
Man, you heard what Greg Carr said on the last show, man. Like that be that outlet, man. These kids do be violent. Control violence, baby. Control
There
violence.
you go.
Control violence. So South Carolina, Maryland, and Rutgers was what other schools in contention for him, and it was a big need for us because defensive line has been a struggle recruiting. We know we lost KJ, not KJ, excuse me, Keldrick Falk last year down the stretch to Auburn, out of down the stretch to Auburn. So defensive ends has been a position of need as far as the high school recruiting that we need to get better. So they had to knock out the part with D.D. Holmes. What pretty much separated FSU from the others is who they paired with him for his host on the official visit. And his host was Jared Verse. So, and Jared Verse, of course, aside from being a excellent football player, he's one of the funny guys, one of the most personable guys on the team. So that made the kid feel real comfortable. You know, I guess that's relatable too. Like you got this, you know, big time defensive end, could be a pretty high draft pick. You know, that's real relatable, real cool, and just showing the ropes around Tallahassee as being real personable. So that kind of resonated with DD, and I think that pushed us over the top, of course, with FSU, making him feel like a priority. So big get for the staff. I like him a lot, and it's also good to get back into the DC area. At one point, with the DMV area, Maryland, DC, and of course Virginia. We got. We'll speak about that a little bit. We got a couple more guys from the area that should be announcing within the next couple of days on the 4th. But yeah, it's pretty good to get back in that area. I know one point in time we were in there pretty heavily and getting some good guys. And hell, it's a real good hit rate from the area because it's some good football up there. So I like D.D. Holmes a lot. So good get for FSU. And the last commitment of the day was 4-star cornerback Ricky Knight, the third out of Carter Newman, Palm Beach. It was pretty much a battle between FSU and Miami throughout his recruitment.
Mm.
Illinois is in there. I've been telling y'all for the longest, man. I think if he have a spot, if FSU pushes for him and make it available, and I just wasn't sure exactly how high he was on the board, the priority, this, that, and the other. I felt like he was gonna be a no 100%. I know it was like some CBs early to Miami, and I put out some tweets, man. Ricky, just hold on, but don't you ain't got to commit too fast and let it play out. And sure enough, it played out. But just speaking about Ricky
Y'all
himself,
whiffed
man,
on a couple. What happened? How he got a spot?
uh, that's a good question. I'm not sure I know because we got a lot of corners on the board. We did whiff on Jameer Grimsley,
Shit,
the
we did
four-star
too.
cornerback. But the shit about that though, I wouldn't even I called it a whiff. But hell, if you guys remember the show previously, once he announced he was visiting, I was like, oh, because he wasn't even the guy I was really counting as far as a DB that FSU was not necessarily recruiting, but was in for.
In the hunt with
Yeah. So I think Grimms would have been an excellent surprise for me because he's 6'3", 200 plus. You guys know I like his measurables and the speed. But yeah, I think Ricky was probably, to be honest with you, he may have been to take the entire time as far as priority in regards to that because not too many, as far as the cornerback position, have announced at this point in time except Grimsley, and it was around the same time frame. So I think the staff just values Ricky Knight along with a couple others. Now it's going to be interesting to see how many we take because there's a lot of cornerbacks on the board. I know Kevin Levy is one guy that's on the board too, but there's some other schools like Louisville that's pushing for him. They want him to be like the number one guy in their class as far as the cornerback position. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, he has a quick trigger, man. A real fast kid, responds to the ball well, runs to the ball, just flows to the ball. Violent kid, makes play. I keep saying violent. My bad, brother. Make plays in the secondary, a lot of picks and things like that. I like this kid a lot. Only he's like 6 foot. I think he's a little on the slender side. He needs to bulk up a little bit. But again, I think you see the willingness in regards to the film. You throw some weight on him, I think he'll be okay. But yeah, it was an Auburn. I think it was an Auburn and Miami battle down the stretch, and FSU is going to end up winning out for his services. And just something to note: Phoenix City. He's also teammates with the 5-star receiver Cameron. Excuse me, forget Cam's last name real quick. My apologies.
McDonald.
Yeah, no, Cameron Coleman. My apologies.
Coleman.
5-star receiver out of Phoenix City, Alabama. They're teammates. He announced the top 5 with FSU in it as well. He's been on campus a couple times too. Just something to note. His decision is in no rush or anything like that. He's going to be a kid that's going to take his visits in the fall and early December and make his announcement then. But yeah, right. Red Morgan. Even aside from Coleman, even if Coleman wasn't attached to that school, this would be a kid I'd be excited about just looking at his film and looking at his top five and the final three, he has some pretty good P5 offers, SEC offers as well. So I think that'll go in favor for FSU on the 4th of July. Elijah Moore, this recruitment's been so crazy to me, man. 4-star receiver out of the DMV area, like I was saying, in Maryland. He was an Ohio State lean coming into our visit. Once he was announced on our visit list, I was like, okay, done took an official visit to Ohio State. Brian Hartline, them pushing, got crystal balls to Ohio State. I'm not gonna get too excited about this, that, and another. Then, after day one of the visit, hey, this kid is really enjoying this visit. After day two of the visit, hey, this kid is really enjoying the visit. There might be something to this. There might be some seriousness to it. And then you hear the kid after his exit interviews. It was pretty much like, hey, my decision's pretty much made up. I was really close to committing this weekend. He pretty much said everything, but I'm committed to FSU. So this is a big time get. I know a lot of people was questioning if he was a take for Ohio State due to his rankings. He's a 4-star on the lower end, but I think that'll change pretty soon. But yeah, Ohio State was definitely in the picture for this kid. If you look at this film, man, he's a playmaker. If FSU does get his commitment, I think he'll end up being, well, not end up being, he'll be the current best receiver in this class just by the film I've seen for Elijah Moore. I like this kid a lot. Physical, big body guy, something we've been wanting to add to the cycle. Mostly we got these 6-foot slot guys and things like that. So to have that big body outside receiver, a physical guy that has real sure hands, I like this kid a lot, man. Really good. So like I said, it's kind of good to get back into the DMV area and to go into Big Ten territory and snatch somebody from Ohio State. Even though they're going to say, look at the rankings, but Hartline definitely pushing. He was on the official visit, crystal balls, this, that, and another.
Yeah, the Ohio State board said that he was a take.
Yeah.
But what's y'all wide receiver board looking like? How many y'all taking? Also, what's up with McCoy, Abrams? Like, how y'all working out the entire board?
That's a good question, man. I really don't. I think it's going to be a couple of kids that they'll be good regardless if they want it, regardless of the numbers. And that's probably and it's a long shot, of course, with Jeremiah Smith. That's a long shot. But I think he'll be good regardless. JoJo Trader, definitely not a spot for JoJo because that's recruitment they're still in Cam. I think that's a guy. Those are 3 guys I think would be pretty much takes regardless. So with McCoy, and I think even if he does end up sticking with FSU, I've been hearing DB with McCoy. So we currently got Camden Fryer, Gibson, and we have Lewayne. So those 3 guys, and I think Lewayne will probably end up sticking. I know Florida just ended up taking a receiver the other week that we was talking about, another slot guy that's pretty much similar to McCoy. Not McCoy, I'm sorry. What's the kid name? Got those kids mixed
Abrams?
up. Yeah, Abrams. My apologies.
Tawaski Abrams.
Yeah, Tawaski Abrams, TJ. So yeah, I think Florida's them probably moved on from Abrams. So I think he ended up sticking. So, but that's 3 guys at the receiver room. We'll probably end up taking 6 receivers. I'll say 6 because we lose a lot this upcoming year. We're going to lose Coleman. We're going to lose. I think Johnny's going to end up going. Yeah, we're going to be pretty young at receiver this upcoming year. Also, Winston Wright, he's going to end up going as well. So they're trying to just pretty much reload that receiver room. So I can see them taking 6, and that's just like I said, holding out those spots for those big dog type of guys. So even if they don't come, that'll be like 3 or 4 receivers that they're being good for. So Elijah Moore is a guy that's going to be in the fold for FSU. I like him a lot. The stuff Brian Hartline Ohio State and luck for receiver, that's pretty damn impressive. So whatever we did, he also said it wasn't anything FSU did as far as presentation or how they could use them, facilities, this, that, and other. It was just like the family vibe, like everything just seemed real to him, genuine to him. He's a relationship type of person, and the relationships pretty much just hit off on the visit, and that's what pushes us over the top. So it's not anything we do with schematics or Ohio State, anything like that. It's just he just felt at home at Florida State in regards to relationships. So that'll be a 4th receiver. And speaking of receivers, James Madison, he also announces this upcoming weekend the 4th of July as well. I'm going to lean with Missouri for James Madison. I think Elijah Moore, I think that spot is pretty much going to Elijah Moore. My apologies, had a car ride by.
You good?
Yeah, I think that's why they go to Elijah Moore. But we'll see how it plays out. I wouldn't be surprised if they take Madison too. But like I said, I think they're taking about 5 to 6 receivers, and they're holding out for those big dogs. So I think that James Madison spot, because him and Moore are pretty much similar type of receivers, I think that spot goes to Elijah Moore. So put it this, I think we'll go 1 for 2, whether it's James Madison or Elijah Moore within those receivers. If we go 2 for 2, that'll be a surprise, with a welcoming surprise. We'll see how the rest of the board plays out as far as receivers. But I think Madison will end up going to Mizzou at this point in time. I think, yeah, I'll say Mizzou for Madison. So 4th of July is probably like 4 announcements for FSU. I see them going 2 for 4 on the high end, 3 for 4. So 2 for 4 on the 4th of July. So I think it'll be a pretty interesting 4th with some other guys lined up later in the month as well. So it'll be interesting to see how things shake out. We'll get to those guys once we get closer to those dates. But yeah,